Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of Reviewing Comics with me, your host, Alexander Turbin. Today we're going to be going over X-Force number 2, the second appearance of Deadpool to celebrate the new upcoming movie of Wolverine and Deadpool, or Deadpool and Wolverine rather. I guess it's Deadpool's movie. But before we get into that, I'd like to show you some of my own work. This is Random Access. This is the newest issue. It's issue 21. And it has a backup story by Chris Knox and Paul Courtjohn, and which is always great. And it has the Instagram daily comic strip that I did called The People of Vandor. And you can check these out at patreon.com/Alex Turbin. And you can get these, which are 12-page full-size, sometimes color, sometimes black and white. They're black and white now, but they're going to become color later on. Or you could go to my website, alexanderturbin.com, which also features Mutandus and The Forlorn and all of my other comics that I have there too. Or you could just message me on alexturbin04401 at Instagram, and we can figure out some way to get you the comics. But anyway, now that that's over, now the comic book plug is over. X-Force number 2. It's an oldie but goodie. If you appreciate this kind of thing, which if you grabbed your copy of Nightblade, then you probably do, because Nightblade was pretty much inspired by this type of thing, with all of the bags and zippers and stuff like that, pockets. So let's get into X-Force and Deadpool's back, number 2. I was going to choose a different Deadpool, but I was kind of hankering reading some Rob Liefeld. So I guess this is a goodie but oldie, and I will go through some of the Deadpool comics on his own, some of the solo series. If you guys would like that, let me know. Truthfully, I haven't read any or many. I've read 1 or 2 Deadpool comics on his own. I have a run of Deadpool and Cable and stuff like that, but not that singular series where he became really popular. So let's go through this, and then we'll talk about Rob Liefeld and stuff like that. So you have some talking to himself. He's Weapon X. I'm not sure what his name is. I can't remember. But I will see it later on. Kane. There you go. That's his name. It's Kane. Probably one of the more forgettable of the Weapon X characters and the Deadpool and Wolverine and stuff. I know they really kind of tried to get him into a popular quadrant or whatever, however you want to say it, where he became really popular like Wolverine and Deadpool, but it just never really happened. And I understand why. His uniform's kind of lame, and his character's kind of lame, so I'm not a huge Kane fan. So really, this issue does not have a lot of going on for it. It's basically just a long fight scene where Kane and Deadpool fight. Basically, some bad guy has hired Deadpool and a bunch of other thugs to steal a shipment of something from Canada, or I think that's some high-tech stuff that's going to be sent to NATO. I don't know why it's against NATO, but that's just kind of weird. But it's I think it's against the Chinese, and it's the Central Office of Ottawa sent him. That's another thing. I never really got that Canada had this secret badass Weapon X program. Maybe it's just because I think Canada's not that badass. But anyway, they made Wolverine. So what can you say? And he's probably the most badass character of all time. So we've got Kane and we've got Deadpool, and they're fighting. And, I didn't really recognize at first when I read this way back in the day. He is the merc with the mouth, and I didn't really tune into it. I think, as most people didn't tune into it until he got his own series, and then it kind of really breaking the fourth wall. That's when he really kind of exploded. I remember having my comic shop, and that's when, after that series came out, people were really like, "Oh, I need but Deadpool stuff. I need Deadpool stuff." And that's probably when I sold my New Mutants 98, I believe, the first appearance of Deadpool, and I probably sold it for $20, like a friggin' idiot. Anyway, I encourage anybody to buy a New Mutants 98 because I don't think it's going to slow down. I mean, comics has slowed down, but I don't think Deadpool's done. I don't think these movies are the last we will see of Wade Wilson. Maybe Ryan Reynolds as Wade Wilson, but I think we'll see Deadpool in some other facets. Maybe a TV series or an animated movie or something like that. He's just too good of a character for and too popular of a character for them to not cash in. So you've got them fighting. Wade is keeps mouthing off, and Kane just is like, I don't want to get drawn into a verbal battle with Deadpool because then he'll suck me in, and that's how he'll defeat me by kind of using his not his mental wit, but his I don't know what do you call it? It's not a mental wit. It's a just a verbal wit, I guess, that gets him to win a lot of his battles, I guess. So they're fighting. They're on the pier. There's boxes in the background. They're going on, and he gives a good punch. Kane, rather, gives a good punch to Wade Wilson. They have a mutual respect for each other, even though apparently they hate each other. I don't know why. But they have a mutual respect for each other, and Deadpool just kind of takes a good one from Kane, and but then he gives it back. He gives Kane a kick to the face, and it's all a pretty good fight scene. I mean, it's your standard Rob Liefeld fare, and I'm actually a fan of Liefeld. I don't know. It's hard to say that I'm a fan. I'm a fan of early Liefeld and early X-Force, early New Mutants, and not X-Force. I'm not really a huge fan of X-Force. It's just he went too far, did too much, and I really think he lost his way somewhere. I don't know if let me know if you guys feel the same, or if you just think that Liefeld just is the best artist ever. Okay, you don't have to say that, but if you think Liefeld gets a bad rap, let me know. If you think he's really great, let me know. I do think he has some really strong points to his art, but let's get back to the story. I'm once again, I delve into the art and the writing and stuff, and well, there's not really too much to delve into the writing because there really isn't much here, because it's just basically a big fight scene. But Kane shoots his hand. Has he done that before? I don't think he has done that before. But he's like, it's kind of gross. So, he has these little quips, which are pretty cool. And Kane stands over him. But then Bridge jumps into the fray and shoots Deadpool. Do we know about his healing factor? I think we probably do. But Bridge and Kane have this discussion while Deadpool is just kind of sitting there bleeding. And Bridge wants to find Cable and X-Force, and he wants Kane to kind of help him and help him find Cable. And Kane's like, nah, I don't want to. But then he looks back and Deadpool's gone. He's used his personal teleporter. I kind of wish everybody had a personal teleporter. I wish I had a personal teleporter. That would be really cool. But really, that is the end of the Deadpool part of the X-Force comic, because this is X-Force and not Deadpool. So maybe I should have chosen another comic to kind of highlight Deadpool's in his comics. But really, I mean, this is the second appearance of Deadpool. It's really pretty awesome. And it's... I can't read what year this is because of my old man eyes, but it's like 89, 90, something like that. But then you have X-Force, which it transitions to another part of the story, which is really doesn't have any story to it. So it basically is just a fight scene, and then it goes to a fight scene where X-Force and Cable has set up a training grounds where they're going to have Farrell, is that her name? I think that's what her name is. And they have to play tag with her, basically. They have to find her and grab her before she grabs them. So you have them walking through the woods, and they're all, this is showing who everybody is, standard Marvel fare, and which is, it's cool. I think every comic should kind of have that, every superhero comic. It tells their powers, tells their abilities, their who they are, their name, and stuff like that. And then it goes to Farrell. Is that her name? I can't remember. And she's running around the forest, and all she has to do is touch them. But she goes a little bit crazy. She jumps onto Cannonball and kind of steers him towards Warpath, who is really Warpath too. And then jumps off, and they think that it's going to be easy for them to grab her, but really she's playing for keeps. And then Boom Boom, who says 3 or 4 times that she's got these new boom bomb launchers, which makes her so awesome. So that awesomeness of the bomb launchers goes with this purple and red costume, which really kind of sucks. This might be the most horrible costume I've ever seen. I don't know. Kitty Pryde had some pretty bad ones. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Who has the worst costume of any of the X people? Because if we delve into the Marvel Universe or comics in general, we could just go down a rabbit hole of horrible costumes like forever. And we don't really want to do that. So here's also the middle page, or I guess it's close to the middle page. Of the comic, and it's a 900 game, and this is how you play, and you hit different buttons, and I guess it's like a choose your own adventure, which is kind of cool. But this was really horrible. I don't know if they got in trouble for doing this, and because you have a bunch of kids playing this 900 phone game, and that's just not cool at all. There were probably a whole bunch of kids that played it, didn't have authority from their parents, and it just, here's the rules and regulations, but young kids aren't going to pay attention to that. They're just going to pay attention to the X-Men. But anyway, let's get back to this romping story. So Farrell, is that her name? Grabs Boom Boom, and she makes her shoot Cable, and so they're like, I'm gonna get her, and Farrell's like, I'm gonna be Farrell and attack everybody, and she's like going for the throat. She wants to kill somebody, and then Shatterstar kind of just barges in, and he's like, I'm a warrior, you're a warrior, but I kill and you're dead. So basically, yeah, that's how X-Force is in my head, where it's just lots of exclamation points and a lot of grandstanding, I suppose you would say, and a lot of brandishing, not brandishing, what am I trying to say? Where they just, they act very tough, like they think they're super tough, they're super badass, like Shatterstar is the most badass, tough dude ever. And so he kind of takes Farrell down, or no, I guess he doesn't. They just fight, and he doesn't take her down. But then Cannonball does, and really, one of my main gripes with X-Force and why I kind of stopped reading it is that Cannonball's uniform is so horrible. I'm really, the costumes for all of X-Force really turned to garbage once they became X-Force and they stopped being the New Mutants. I really did not enjoy it. Did not enjoy that whole transition from the 80s X-Men to the 90s X-Men. I mean, I know a lot of people love the 90s X-Men and the animated cartoon and the Jim Lee X-Men. And although I love Jim Lee's art, he's I would say he's not even in my top 20 favorite artists, but he's very obviously talented and very obviously fantastic artist. So I cannot ever say anything bad about Jim Lee's art. But it took a sharp turn and away from characterization and plot and story and just went into this whole making things badass. And that's really what turned me away from X Force. And I always read the X Men, Uncanny X Men and X Men and everything, all through until probably 2010 on a regular basis. So I have like tons and tons and tons and tons of X Men books. And then I kind of stopped reading a little bit. But yeah, one of the worst parts is their costumes. I really don't like Farrell's costume. Warpath is great, but it's the original Warpath costume from the X-Men. So, and Cable's is pretty good. Like Liefeld, he is really so great at creating costumes and creating characters, but half of his stuff is kind of crappy too. Like the two costumes, three costumes actually. So they knock her down after she slashes Sam and rips his guts out. Then they bring him back to the hospital or whatever. Here's an interlude where Black Tom, and somebody are trying to bring somebody through a portal. And then this is another interlude back to when Cannonball is brought back to the infirmary, wherever they are stationed, I guess. And they're like, what do we do about Farrell? And they're like, I don't know. What do we do? And then it goes back to this interlude of Black Tom. This panel in this page looks very Walter Simonsonish. Actually, this whole thing looks super Walter Simonsonish, which I love. He's my favorite artist of all time, and really, I love that. It's really has great energy and great focus. I think that's great. And then it actually ends up that they're bringing back the Juggernaut, which obviously Black Tom and the Juggernaut are partners. They always have been partners, and so that's who they were bringing back. And of course, bring back Juggernaut because he's one of the best X-villains ever. Maybe, well, second. Magneto, you can't beat Magneto as X-Men's worst villain, or best villain. But Juggernaut brings it down to a personal level a little bit more than Magneto or Magneto, however you say it. Because, the whole storyline of Juggernaut and Charles Xavier being brothers, and there's just a whole other facet of just being a bad guy than that. So, yeah, this is actually plotted by Liefeld and then scripted by Fabian Nicieza. So the scripting, there's not a lot there. There's not a lot of characterization there. And the plot is, like I said, it's almost non-existent. It's fight scene after fight scene after fight scene, and there's really nothing going on, which he then translates into Image Comics, doing basically the same thing, only using Youngblood and whatever other characters that he's created. I'm not here to bash Liefeld, like I said. Like I said, he's created a lot of really cool characters. Deadpool is one of them. Cable, I think even Cable is a really cool character. I think if he had remained a singular character, a singular militant X-Men character, it probably would have been a little bit better, but he had to drag X-Force into his little domain of militantness. And that's really where it kind of diverged too much for me to read. So yeah, Liefeld, there's a lot I like about him. There's a lot I kind of don't like about him. Like, he's got some really great poses. I don't know whether it's so hard to say. Does he kind of fall back onto certain poses when he doesn't have time or something? Because, like, you've got this, which is really cool, and you've got good facial features, good expressions, and stuff like that. And he's got some pretty good narrative art. He's got some good panel layouts. I never really, throughout this whole thing, I never had to kind of go back and reread anything because of the art. Maybe because of the story. Actually, because of the lettering I did, I had to reread this page here because I read that, and then that which this maybe should have been over here, and then I could have gone back to that. But you're supposed to read it here, 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 and then Deadpool something says something, and they both say shut up. So it's kind of hard for them to for that to read correctly, I guess. But he's got some really great poses. Sometimes he's a little off the mark, like this here. His legs are completely parallel, and they really should be a little perpendicular. The feet should be a little perpendicular and stuff. But I mean, he does really good fight scenes. He's got some good musculature. I don't know if his anatomy is completely there. Like this is a little bit off. These legs are a little bit off. I know, but I don't really care so much about the anatomy of the Image guys. It's just, it's very exciting and dynamic and exciting, and that's why people love it. People love this background. It's got so much energy that you don't care about some of these other things that maybe could fall in between, or not fall in between, but it could keep you from enjoying the art if you focus too much on it, like the anatomy or something like that. My one real kind of gripe is that his mouths are a little bit too small, and they all kind of look the same. All of his gritting teeth kind of look the same. I'm sure I'm not saying anything that right here, anything new. I'm sure a lot of people have said similar things. And I mean, to say that he can't draw feet is just stupid. I mean, he draws feet all the time, and he has drawn feet all the time. He just likes to get everything in the panel, and so you lose an arm or a hand or a leg or whatever, and that's what it is. It's perfectly okay, because he can do it, and anyone that says he can't is just silly. But I like Liefeld's art. This story is basically a non-existent story. It's just two fight scenes. So it doesn't really extend the story arc of X-Force anywhere, which I'm not entirely sure there really was a full story arc in X-Force. Like, when did he start plotting, and when did it end? When did he stop plotting? Maybe when he stopped is when some storylines actually grew together. So that's probably one of my other biggest gripes against Liefeld, is that he wasn't a great writer. He didn't even write script. He didn't script this. All he did was a plot. There is no plot. So he just made a bunch of fight scenes, which is, whatever it is what it is. Liefeld is who he is. And if you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. Like I said, I really enjoy his older stuff, which was, Hawk and Dove and older, New Mutants and stuff. So anyway, I'm not, should I give this grade? If I was going to grade this, I would give this probably a 6. I kind of like the art. It's dynamic, but there's so much non-story that I would not really, I don't even know why I got more of these. I did because I would just get comics, weekly, and not really care so much about the quality at that point. I just wanted consistency in my life, and I think that's what a lot of other comic book readers crave in their life, is consistency. But let me know what you guys think, and if you got this issue, if you got issue 98 of New Mutants, let me know. Let me know what you think of the Deadpool movie too, and maybe I'll make some sort of review of that if I go see it, which I probably will. I mean, I'm a Marvel zombie, so why wouldn't I? But anyway, thanks for watching, and again, X-Force #2, second appearance of Deadpool. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing and hitting the notification bell and all that cool groovy stuff. And I will see you guys next time.